Hi, today from Dubai. Behind me you can see Burj Khalifa. This is the highest building in the world, 830 meters high, over 2,700 feet high. Today we will talk about the first step to do the impossible. So stay with me for the next part. So guys, see you at the top. High from the top of the Burj Khalifa, the highest building in the world, 830 meters, over 2,700 feet high. It was considered impossible to some point in time to build such a high building. But then it became possible. From a vision, it became a reality. And in the year 2010, this building was inaugurated. And now I am standing here on the top of that building and meeting you at the top. Today's topic is the first step to do the impossible. Where does the idea come from? As you know, I have done many things in my life that I considered impossible before, and many other people considered impossible to do or impossible to do for me, like running 111 kilometers through the Sahara Desert in one piece. It's called Sahara Ultra 111, or meeting and interviewing now 28 billionaires around the globe for my global book project, to include them in my upcoming book, The $1 Billion Secret. A feat that nobody has done before on a global scale. And many people ask me, how do I manage to do these things in different areas of life? And I realized there is a methodology to it. And I subconsciously employed that methodology to achieve these things. I stumbled upon this when I discovered a book in a bookstore with the title 50 Most Exotic Islands I Have Never Been to and I Will Never Visit. And I scanned through that book and I realized I actually was on two of these islands. And one of the islands is called Deception Island. It's at the shores of Antarctica. And I not only visited that island, I was actually bathing in Antarctica. But the author of that book wrote he will or she will never visit these islands. And why did she assume she will never visit these islands? Why did she assume it is impossible for her or for him? When apparently it is pretty possible, because I visited two of them. Of course, they are most exotic, most faraway islands in the world, but it is possible to visit them. And I actually, without knowing that they are most exotic islands in the world, most faraway islands in the world, I have visited them. So this idea appeared at that time, and then I systematized that knowledge. Behind me, by the way, you see one of the skyscraper areas of Dubai. David Schwartz said, the size of your success depends on the size of your thinking. You need to realize that you can achieve only things that you think are possible for you. And if you say impossible, for many people it just means I don't know how to do it. It doesn't mean it is really impossible. Or the stronger version of impossible, of our meaning of impossible, is to mean actually that nobody has done it before, and therefore I consider it impossible. And let me tell you an example. In the year, I think 1906, one of the Wright brothers said flights are generally right now technically impossible. They may be possible in 50 years. But guess what? in 2 years he was actually flying an aircraft already, and it was the aircraft, a plane invented by him personally. So he was the inventor of airplane, and it didn't need 50 years for airplane to fly. It needed just 2 years. So when he was saying this, he was just 2 years apart from flying an airplane, and then he said he will never say again something is impossible. And for me personally, the breakthrough moment when I saw the difference between possible or impossible, the transition between these two, started during my first marathon. Because during my first marathon I realized two things. The first thing I realized was that impossible is just an opinion. This is what we have in our heads. It's just our thought in the first place. If we think something is impossible, it doesn't mean it is really impossible. It just means we think, our thoughts inside, that this is impossible. And most of the limitations we are exposed to are not physical limitations, are not the limitations of nature, of physics, that prohibit us from doing something. No, most of the limitations we are exposed to are actually limitations in our heads. We just think it is impossible, we just think it can't be done, and that's why we don't try to do it at all. So this was the first thing I realized. The second thing I realized was that even if something is objectively impossible for us, like 3 months before my first marathon, it was objectively impossible for me to run a marathon and to finish a marathon. I would probably give up on the way or faint or get injured. But then I realized that through certain preparations, 12-week training, I was able to finish a marathon, and I realized that something that was objectively impossible for me became possible for me through directed action. So I realized that impossible is a very relative term. If something is impossible for us now, it doesn't mean it can't become possible in a matter of months or weeks, months, or maybe years. And I experienced this transition from impossible to possible on my own body, in my own life. And then impossible things started to happen in my life, starting from that point. So running a marathon was this turning point experience in my life. So this was the first step to do the impossible. This is our beliefs, what we believe in. Do you believe it is possible for you, or you don't believe it is possible for you? What is your attitude to the things that are possible? Usually it is much more possible for us than we even realize. This was only the first step, but the methodology that I have constructed to do the impossible consists of 7 steps. 7 steps to do the impossible. In the book I have written together with Brian Tracy, my chapter tells the story of my 3 breakthroughs on the way to the impossible and of the lessons I have learned from that breakthroughs. This book will be launching on November 30th in TV studios, Ambitious TV studios in Orlando. It will be streamed live, and I will teach you on 30th of November at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, so East Coast time. 7 steps to do the impossible. So if you are interested in my methodology, how to achieve these things, how to do these things, here I will provide a link to register to this live event. You need to register, you will be then informed about going live, and you will be able to participate in that event. It's completely free, and you will learn the 7 steps to do the impossible. Okay, we are back down again. I hope you liked it. Share this video with your loved ones, with your friends. They will thank you for that. For the best comment and the best share, I will give away a copy of the book I have written with Brian Tracy. special edition with my signature. So share your comments with us. If you like this video, you will certainly be interested in my other videos. You will find here some of my best videos. That's it. See you and thank you from Dubai.